Hello friends, my name is Sunil Ranjan and I am an English faculty member. Now here I have come up with the topic pleasure by Aldous Huxley. Pleasure is also known as on the margin. Now here I begin. In his essay Pleasure or On the Margin, Aldous Huxley speaks of army actions since the beginning of World War in 1914. He speaks of military actions of Prussia, Germany and France, the stretching of the World War and the Treaty of Versailles. Now coming to the first point, this was introduction. So the first point, and if you note down the points, then you will be scoring high marks in your examination. So the first point is the strength of human civilization. I repeat, the strength of human civilization. Huxley says that human civilization has strongly resisted the combined attacks of these opposing forces. He says that such military actions and peace processes in history have remained merely threats and have made only bold statements from different platforms. He says that the dangers that human civilization faces are not so much the external dangers. He speaks of men who become wild and how economy of a nation collapses after the war is over. He speaks of the most alarming dangers that eat internally and threaten and endanger the human mind. Now coming to the second point. The second point is Huxley's meaning of pleasure. I repeat, Huxley's meaning of pleasure. Huxley says that to him pleasure is the most dreadful thing. While using the word, he does not mean the real happiness of life, but the organized activities officially known by the same name. The horrors of modern pleasure arise from the fact that every kind of organized diversion tends to become progressively more and more stupid and idiotic action. He speaks of the time when people indulged themselves with distractions that required a certain intellectual effort. Those in the courts of kings took delight in listening to intellectual discourses. Now, the next point, role of ancestors. So I repeat, role of ancestors. Here I begin. To indulge in their favorite pastime, the ancestors applied their minds hard. Even the uneducated delighted in pleasures requiring the exercise of a certain intelligence, individuality and personal effort. They listened to Othello, King Lear and Hamlet, understood them and enjoyed. They sang and played music. The peasants in the countryside organized and enjoyed dances of spring, summer, winter and harvest season. Their pleasures were intelligent and alive. Now, the next point, mechanical way of life. I repeat, mechanical way of life. And here I begin. Huxley says that there has come a big change in human society. Old pleasures that demanded intelligence and personal initiative have been replaced by big organizations that provide ready-made distractions that do not require personal participation or intellectual effort of any kind. A million cinemas across the world screen the same nonsense. Now, the next point, revolution in communication. I repeat, revolution in communication. So here I begin. Aldous Huxley says that there have always been fourth-rate writers and dramatists whose works died out quickly without crossing the boundaries of the city or the country in which they appeared. But today, their works go out from Los Angeles to the whole world. Countless audiences passively tolerate the nonsense. No mental effort or participation is demanded of them. They just need to sit passively with their eyes open. Now, the next point, music and literature. I repeat, music and literature. So here I begin. Huxley asks whether democratic states across the world want music anymore. Earlier there were no such things as gramophones and people composed music themselves. But today, with the coming of science, one can just turn to the invention and sing along the music filtering through it. Press fulfilled the desire for literature and information. He accepts the role of the press but says that its real function is to provide a diversion that occupies the mind and makes one think and arouse one's curiosity to think more and know more. Now, the next point is importance of individual participation. So I repeat, importance of individual participation. Huxley points to the fact that certain sections of human society practice athletic sports which demand individual participation, but the vast mass of community today has begun to prefer watching the game rather than being the part of fatigues and dangers of the actual game. He says that people across the world are dancing, but they tap the same steps to the same tunes, and there is hardly anything new to be appreciated. Now, the next point is importance of intelligence and initiative. I repeat, importance of intelligence and initiative. Huxley says that such ready-made diversions are the same for all in the Western world and are a worse menace to the Western civilization than the war-mongering Germans. He says that everything has become mechanical today, in which no mental effort, no individuality, and no initiative are required. In the hours of leisure, we turn to diversions which are mechanical and stereotyped and hardly demand any intelligence and initiative as our work does. If such leisure is added to such work, the result at the end would be astonishing and a blessed relief. Now the next point, natural flow and creativity. So this is the last point, natural flow and creativity. Huxley says that civilization might prematurely decline if such a way of life continues. If mind is not used creatively and continues to be disturbed by ever-increasing violence and vulgarity, the democracy of the future will become dull and sick. Ready-made entertainments which have no participation are meaningless and never promise any intellectual growth of human civilization. So friends, here I come to the end of this topic, that is pleasures, and if you write your answers with points, you will be scoring high marks. And if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you haven't, and if you choose to subscribe, I promise that I'll be coming up with quality videos for you from time to time. And yes, I will stick to what I say. Thank you.